and all these on that option. Get the mask on my face like a catch. Don't call my phone unless you tryna cop. I'll pull up and serve you well.
Are the Carolina Panthers going to re-sign James Bradberry? Yo! Welcome to LCameraTV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the show cool things like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Rumble.com and Twitter and wherever else. And guys, we got a lot to talk about, man. First of all, we gotta figure out if a certain cornerback's gonna get a contract. Definitely gotta talk about that. Second thing we gotta talk about is the Carolina Panthers. What are they gonna do with a certain quarterback because they still have not made a decision yet. And the third thing we gotta talk about is the Carolina Panthers at a crossroad and what they should do at that crossroad. So we got a lot to talk about today, guys. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is James Bradberry's contract. Now, James Bradberry is going to be a free agent after this season. And to be honest with you, James Bradberry had a tale of two seasons. You know what I'm saying? The first half of the season, he was playing lights out. He was getting turnovers. He was playing like a great cornerback. Obviously, he was doing interviews saying how he liked playing for money, makes him play better and all this stuff. And in the second half of the season, he's getting bombed by Julio Jones. He's getting beat. You know what I'm saying? He's missing games he missed the game through the injury, all kinds of stuff. So he hasn't been living up to the bill in the second half. Shaq Thompson got paid because he had an all-around good year. Obviously, you know, he's one of the highest paid linebackers now. So obviously, that's Shaq. I expect him to get a contract. But James is another question, especially with Jalen Ramsey out there. And, you know what I'm saying, there's really good cornerbacks coming out in the draft. Are the Panthers willing to spend that money? Because if you think about it, let's say we don't get James Bradberry, right? We don't re-sign him. We got Jeff, I think his name is Jeff Okudah, coming from college, who they're saying might be the next Marshawn Lattimore. You got, you know what I'm saying, Stephon Diggs' brother, coming from college, saying he a baller. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys, a lot of good cornerbacks coming out of this draft, just like there's a lot of receivers coming out of this draft. So, will the Panthers be willing to spend however much James Bradberry wants? Now, mind you, I ain't gonna lie. Would I want to keep James Bradberry? Sure. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, for the right price. If he's asking for elite cornerback numbers, then I wouldn't pay him. Me personally, I wouldn't pay him. If anything, I would pay Jalen Ramsey. You know what I'm saying? Who I think had, you know, a down year, but still an elite cornerback. You know what I'm saying? And yes, he has his issues, but it is what it is. And if that was the case, I would pay Jalen, and I would draft the corner, and I'll move Dante into the slot so he can be, you know, better off as far as so we want to line up with the bigger receivers. That's what I would do. You know what I'm saying? If James Bradberry doesn't want that much money, then I'll work something out, keep James in the building. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'll probably still draft another cornerback, but I'll get you know what I'm saying, Dante Jackson move to slot either way. You know what I'm saying? But it just depends on how much money James Bradberry wants. Because if he wants Jalen Ramsey money, you might as well get Jalen Ramsey. Because Jalen Ramsey's faster, he's better. You know what I'm saying? You know, against the Falcons, he got beat one play that Matt Ryan overthrew the ball to Julio Jones. And the reason why is because James Bradberry's not that fast. Julio Jones ran like a 4.4. You know what I'm saying? James Bradberry ran like a 4.6. So he just like, as soon as he got past him, it was like, you know, he had like 2 feet separation on him. So James Bradberry, like I said, is a good corner, but he's not one of the best corners in the league. And if he wants to get paid like that, we might be better off letting him walk, man. Because, you know, we have a lot of things we have to change and fix in this team. And, you know, we don't have a lot of time to be divvying out money, especially big money, to players that are not that great. And the second thing I want to talk about is Cam Newton, because the Carolina Panthers still don't know what they want to do with him. Whether it's to keep him or trade him, who knows? You know, there's reports coming out all the time saying that they don't know. Some people saying that they want to trade him and looking for a trade. Some people say they might want to keep him in the building because, you know, if he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. All this stuff, right? Now, I've been on record. I've said they should keep him. At least let him play out a 1-year contract. Because worst case scenario, you can franchise tag him, then trade him. That's what I was thinking. That's how I feel about it. But that's what I would do personally. If he is a baller, I would re-sign him to a longer contract, right? But obviously they're looking to get some stuff for him, whatever. But I don't know, man. Me personally, like I said, it's hard to find a franchise quarterback, and especially, you know, Tua Tagovailoa has a hip injury. You got Jake Fromm coming out of college. You got Joe Burrow, but he's probably gonna go number 1 overall. You got all these guys coming out, but the Panthers really have a realistic shot of getting them. You know know what I'm saying? And I think the Panthers have to make they shouldn't rush making this decision. They should definitely see him healthy first before they even make a decision, because at the end of the day, you know, Cam's health changes everything. It changes dramatically. If Cam Newton is healthy, I think he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But the main thing, question mark, is his health. So we'll see, you know, so obviously, but I think David Tipper is the one pushing for maybe Cam to be gone, because he's a new owner. He wants his own guys and he wants his own team. You know what I'm saying? And I don't necessarily like that, because don't get me wrong, I definitely think, you know what I'm saying, certain coaches should get fired. Like I like Ron Rivera, but I was saying it was time for him to go because he's been on the team so long. 1, 2, you know, he did have, you know, up and down seasons a lot. And 3, you know what I'm saying, I wanted an offensive-minded head coach to help out Cam, because a lot of Cam's issues currently is because Ron Rivera and the general manager never decided to get him a first-round lineman, you know what I'm saying, an actual good receiver, you know what I'm saying, or just things that would help him flourish. They always, you know what I'm saying, kind of cherry-picked on the offensive side by getting, you know, second-round linemen, you know what I'm saying, getting Kelvin Benjamin and don't drafting another receiver, stuff like that. They did little things that wouldn't really help the quarterback, but they always helped out the defense, and that's why the defense was always top-notch, but the offense wasn't that great, you know what I'm saying. So I definitely think Cam Newton deserves another opportunity with the Panthers. He's already on contract, you know what I'm saying. Plus the other thing is that they're thinking about getting an offensive-minded head coach, and I think that coach can take Cam Newton to another level. But you know what I'm saying, as far as David Tipper, like I said, I think he wants his own guys, man. And you know, but I don't know. I mean, if they do trade Cam Newton, I hope they get a king's ransom, man. I would not take a first and a fourth. I'm not gonna take that. That's not, you know what I'm saying. For Cam Newton, quality player, a first and a fourth is not good enough. You know what I'm saying. For me, I have to start at 2 first rounds at least. You know what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, Cam Newton, at his peak, at his height, is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he took his team to a Super Bowl. So if you're giving me, you know what I'm saying, obviously Khalil Mack, I think, got 2 first rounders. You know what I'm saying. There's so many guys who got 2 first rounders. Cam Newton is that caliber player. He's not a scrub. He's not a guy that's gonna be like, okay, you know, if he's healthy, he can show and produce that he's healthy and prove that he's healthy, bro, he's gonna be dominant. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. That's just how I feel about it. But they gotta make a decision. I don't think they should make a decision soon. I think they should at least see him healthy. And I think they should keep him in the building. But if they do trade him, hopefully they get him for a king's ransom, man. You know what I'm saying? So we can actually kind of expedite this rebuild, because it seems like the Panthers are kind of going into a rebuild. And finally, if the Carolina Panthers trade Cam Newton, they trade Cam Newton basically, I think they should kind of go into full rebuild mode. Because the reason why I say that is because we have a lot of older players on this team. You know what I'm saying? We have a good amount of young players, but the older players are the ones that are getting all the money as far as contract wise. So for me, if you're gonna trade Cam for his $20 million cap hit, you should, you know what I'm saying, and people don't kind of dislike this idea, but you should let Greg go too, because Greg is getting an $8 million cap hit. You know what I'm saying? Gerald McCoy is getting like an $8 million cap hit. Dontari Poe is getting, you know what I'm saying, like I think it's a $6 million cap hit. And if you free up all this cap space, you can actually rebuild your line. You can actually get some receivers in the building. And that's if you trade Cam Newton. Now personally, I would still do this besides the Greg Olsen situation. You know what I'm saying, as far as getting rid of Gerald McCoy, getting rid of Dontari Poe, getting rid of these big contracts that are not producing. Because at the end of the day, if you want to rebuild your team, you're going to need cap space. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things. Cap space and draft capital are the 2 most important things in a quick rebuild. So Ron Rivera, like all these, you know, veteran guys that are dominant, you bring them in the building, you know, Marty Herney also, they'll bring them in the building and they'll see them produce. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to rebuild, it's all about drafting and acquiring veterans, but, you know, younger veterans that can help now. And besides like the offensive line position, because you need guys that can produce now. But as far as pass rushers and all that stuff like that, whatever, you know, receivers and all that, you need the younger, you know, influx. Ian Thomas has been looking good. Maybe it might be time for him to take over. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Ian Thomas doesn't really get opportunity with Greg Olsen there, because Greg Olsen on the field all the time. So there's a lot of things that the Panthers need to decide. If they are going to a full rebuild mode, then you might well just let go of some of the older players, because they're great players. Plus, you can give them an opportunity to go win somewhere else. Like, I would hate for Greg Olson's, the twilight of his career, to be, he's on the Panthers and they rebuilding, like Larry Fitzgerald. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that. You know what I'm saying? Let them go somewhere else and try to win, you know what I'm saying, and try to, get a championship ring before they retire, man. Like, I would hate for Greg to have to stay on our team and, basically ride out his whole career until he becomes a sportscaster, you know what I'm saying, on a rebuilding team where they're not winning that many games. So we'll see how the Panthers decide. Are they going to fully rebuild, or are they going to try to... And it sounds like David Tipper wants to rebuild. So we'll see how that whole thing plays out, man. But if they are, let these older guys go, man. Let them go to another team. Let them get, an opportunity somewhere else so they can try to win a ring. That's just how I feel about it. Well, that's it for me, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share all cool things like Facebook and Reddit and Instagram, YOOOO.com, and Twitter, and wherever else. And guys, get in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the Panthers' direction, where you think it's going. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Put that in the comment section below. Check out the description. You also got a Spreadshirt account, Patreon page, and an NFL affiliate link. All in the description. Definitely check that stuff out, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.